And the new mental health hotline is live now. Someone can actually just dial 988 to get in touch with a trained mental health counselor. It's expected to serve 7.6 million Americans in its first year. Our good friend Kevin Peterson with the Chronic Hope Institute joining us live now via Zoom. Kevin, good morning, my friend. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good this morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Kevin. Thank you so much for being with us to talk about this really important thing. You know, we've been talking about this for a few years now, that this 988 number is coming, so it is officially live. How is this changing the game when it comes to that hotline?
You know, this really is a huge asset and resource for people that are struggling, because what it does is it allows someone to dial 988, and at 24/7, 365, you're going to have a trained mental health therapist on the other end of the line talking to you and walking you through whatever's going on. And it's mental health, and it's National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is the title. So that's that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Kevin, one thing that I always think about when we talk about this topic is who is listening to this message, who is watching. And something that I think is pretty common is a lot of people are going to hear this and like, well, that doesn't apply to me. So I actually think there is a wide range of flags to maybe be aware of that you might be able to spot in your own life. I'd like us to walk through those just a little bit right now. So what can exactly cause a person maybe to even think about suicide?
Well, yeah, I agree with you 100%. There's three things we tend to look for, three major categories. The first one is mental health and physical health. We're looking for things like severe mental health issues, substance abuse issues, radical mood change, poor relationships, and then physical health issues like traumatic brain injury or chronic pain. That's one of the first areas we look into.
Well, I love that you mentioned all these different things. I want to talk about, different severity levels of this. Some people, and I'm going to admit it too, I've had these thoughts plenty of times, on my own. But I do think it's also important to mention, like, at what point do you pick up the phone? At what point? Because can you call even if you're just kind of having these ideologies?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that's really important to understand for people that are struggling with suicidal ideation is they've gotten to the point where they think this is the solution. That's how bad it is for them. So it's not something where they can just sort of, oh, I'll just walk it off and I'll be okay. And it's okay for people to have these thought processes, and it's okay for people to think down this road. We just want them to understand that we now have a resource for them to get help immediately.
Absolutely. That's why I mentioned my own ideas, that I have had these. I have not acted on them. But you're right. We got to normalize the fact rather than just freak out that we got to talk a little bit more about the resources. I want to ask you, though, how does health really factor in to all of this?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. The other two primary territories that we look for are sort of nurture, right? The family history and that sort of thing, and the environment that the people are living in and who they're dealing with and who they're interacting with. And one of the big pieces that we look for the people that struggle with suicide or suicidal ideation is other people that they know that have tried to kill themselves or have killed themselves, because then they think it becomes a solution. And so what we want them to understand is that we're going to give them an alternative and give them an opportunity to seek help.
Yeah, absolutely. You're mentioning other people too in their lives, and there's going to be family members, friends, just loved ones in general who want to help those people out. What is something simple that if they are worried that they can do?
The cool part about that is they can call 988 too. Also, it's available for them to say, hey, I've got someone I care about and I love, and I need to help them. And what do I do? And how do I go about this? And, and every time I talk to them, well, they say, I'm fine. So how do I help them? Because I know they're not fine. That's a resource for them as well.
Yeah, that's great to know. And also we should mention that if you call 988, it kind of depends on your area code, right, Kevin? Like where you're going to be connected to, which resources, is that right?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I mean, it can be if you call at an odd hour, you may get linked up to someone nationally, not someone locally. But what they will give you is local resources as well.
Perfect. Okay, that's good to know. I wanted to ask that question to get that out there as well. Kevin, we know that there's so much more to talk about within this topic. We're going to have you back to really dive into this issue just a little bit more, but we so appreciate you even helping us understand the tip of the iceberg here. Thank you so much, my friend.
Oh, hey, it's my pleasure. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You too.